Okay, you are joining me for lunch, and I'm so super excited you're here. I hope you have something to drink, something to eat, and you're just pulling up your chair. So, we're going to get into it about speakers feeling like I need to have another stage. I need to have another opportunity. And that's actually the number one question that I receive all of the time is what is the next opportunity? How do I get to the next thing? And what I am saying, and it might be contrary to everyone's belief, but taking a step back to do a couple of things prior to just jumping into it and saying, okay, this is what I need to be doing. And so I wanted to make sure I have my notes because I want to stay on topic so that we can actually get through all of this because there's a few things that I want to make sure that I cover with you and that it's not something that we gloss over, and especially all of the details that I want to make sure that we talk through. So I know people are just now coming in, and this is live Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So this is my lunch, and we're hanging out together. And so let's just talk about why you don't really need another stage, and that there's actually a better question that you could be posing right now for yourself. Okay. So, welcome to, I'm calling it Lunch with Lena. I didn't really have a unique, I really just didn't have anything unique. Okay. So, welcome. And I want you to get comfortable and grab a notepad because if you're even watching the replay, you're still going to get a lot of nuggets. So, drop replay in the comments so that I know that you did come and watched and supported. And I really appreciate that. And I'll go back and read any of the comments. So if you guys have any questions as I go along with some of my thinking about speakers needing more opportunities, I'll make sure to answer your questions. So okay, question that I get the most: how do I find more stages? And I know that it sounds like a straightforward question, but I had to start thinking about what is the real question that's really being asked when someone says, hey, I need more stages. And if you're on my email newsletter, you saw this question because sometimes what I'm really being asked is, can you just introduce me to someone? Can you just find the opportunity for me? Can I borrow your network? That's what I'm actually really hearing. And I understand the desire for success because I do believe that relationships do matter, introductions matter, and being in the right rooms definitely matters. So before someone opens a door or leverages their relationships on your behalf, you do need to be clear about what you're asking them to recommend. So today we're not simply just talking about where to find another call for speakers, like we're backing it up and we're talking about the strategy that should come before the stage. And you know what? I might want to coin that, the strategy before the stage, because yes, it should be a strategy. It shouldn't be something that's just haphazard. Oh, I see an opportunity. We're talking about a strategy that should come before the stage, before the opportunity, because event organizers are not simply looking for speakers. They are looking for those who are able to come up with a solution to the problem that their audience has. And we're looking for meaningful, like they're looking for meaningful value for their audience. And they're looking for someone that's confident and the person that they will hire to deliver. So we are talking about paid opportunities. Even if you're speaking for free, there are ways that you can still maximize the opportunity, even if you're not getting paid. So yes, that is an option as well. But the conversation that we're having today is, if I handed you 20 speaking opportunities between now and the end of the year, would you actually be ready for them? And sit with that for a second, right? Would you really be ready for 20 opportunities between now and the end of the year? Would your message fit that audience, and not just that one audience, but the 20 various audiences? And how do you ensure and make sure that you do align with that audience? What, like, will your materials support your decision to say yes to 20 different opportunities? Would the opportunity make sense for your business? And I say business because there should be a business behind the brand, right? Because what would the opportunity make sense for your brand is a huge question that you should ask every time that there is an opportunity or something that you're pitching for. You should know what the ROI is for you, your business, the company and organization who's bringing you in, and what the compensation or value exchange makes sense for where you are right now. Oh my goodness. Um, and I get excited about this because I love having conversations with those who are in the speaking industry, because some have been doing, and they have a strategy on how they execute and how they're getting leads and different opportunities. And then there's those that are like, I'm just aspiring to do this. Um, and I'm really talking to the established speaker right now, because a lot of times we feel like we do have it all together. And if, Lena, you sent 20 different speaking opportunities, I would say yes. And I know that I can handle it. Um, and I feel like sometimes we're saying yes automatically without doing the research to make sure it is a good fit. If we're honest, if we're honest. and sometimes and sometimes we don't want to be honest if we're really just keeping it real together. Because access to opportunities and preparation for the right opportunities are two completely different things. Let me say that again. Access to opportunities and preparation for the right opportunities are two different things. And I want to make sure that we understand that distinction. Stage is a platform. It's not automatically the right opportunity as soon as somebody says, hey, would you come speak on my stage? A room can be filled with people and still have no absolute connection to your goals. And you can give an excellent presentation and you can receive an applause, and you can give an excellent presentation. Like you can do everything right and have beautiful photos and reels and carousels, and you can walk away feeling like you did a great job and still leave without relationships, without revenue, without referrals, without credibility or momentum that you expected. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the event itself was bad. It may simply mean that the event was not aligned to the need speaking, that it may not have been aligned with what you needed speaking to support. And let me clarify like what that means. Um, when we're thinking about all the various different event experiences that we are wanting to get on stages for, there's a business behind every speaker. You might have a book, a product, a service, some type of offer. Because if you don't, that's going to be really difficult if you're just speaking and people get inspired and you have nothing else to point them to or invite them into. So when we ask the question, where can I speak? We need to be more thoughtful that really the question should be, what is speaking supposed to support? For one person, it may be a consulting business. And for another, it may be coaching services. And it may lead into trainings and workshops, licensing for your own events. And speaking may strengthen your corporate career or your leadership platform. And some speakers, the keynote itself is the primary business model. But still, a lot of those speakers do have businesses behind the brand. And none of these approaches are wrong, but they do require different strategies. And so a speaker who wants to earn paid keynote fees will evaluate a stage differently from someone who is using speaking to generate consulting clients. Does that make sense? Now, a speaker who wants to sell books with, everybody, if you do have a book, great. I'm seeing all kinds of different books that are coming out right now. Shout out to Taraji. I was about to say Taraji. Shout out to Terry Ijeoma. Her book is out. She's doing a book tour right now. And so when you're thinking about even like when you want to sell your books, you need to evaluate the audience, because does this book, this tool actually help them with the transformation that I promised? Because if your book is on love and you said yes to a real estate conference, and you decided to give out all of your books, I don't think you're going to have a lot of feedback instantly from every single person. Like, this was so amazing and this connected to where I want to go in life because I love real estate. No, that's not how that works. A speaker wants to be known, or should want to be known, in a specific industry. And every decision that we make will have it'll have an impact on the goals that we're setting for ourselves and actually if we're going to achieve it. And I keep looking at my notes because I want to stay. So if you see me looking here, that these are my notes, and I don't want to lose my place as I'm talking to you all. So if speaking is a part of your business, you need to understand the role speaking plays in that business. Because a lot of times, again, speaking is just one arm of many different arms of your business, right? It's just an additional revenue stream. Otherwise, you may keep pursuing stages without knowing what success is supposed to look like once you get there. So this is why I do not believe that the answer is simply more stages. Absolutely not the answer. I believe the answer is more clarity, more research, more alignment, and a stronger understanding of what the buyer is actually trying to solve. Because event organizers do not wake up saying, "Oh, I just need another speaker in my lineup." They're actually thinking, we need someone who can help our leaders navigate change. We need our team to communicate better. We need our employees to understand how artificial intelligence affects their work. We need someone who can address retention. We need someone who can help build trust. We need someone who can help this audience manage burnout without giving them another generic wellness presentation. We need someone who understands what our members are experiencing right now. We need someone who can move this conversation forward. This may Now they may use the word speaker because that is the role that they need filled. But what they are actually buying is not simply a person holding a microphone. They are buying a solution. They are buying an outcome. They are buying confidence. This, I'm hoping that this is starting to kind of like make you think outside of the box. Like, yeah. Now, when you're thinking outside of the box, you need to look at your materials and say, is my materials really truly articulating the value that I bring and the problem that I'm solving and the learning outcomes? And that connects to, it's a direct connection to how much I'm asking to be paid for my time to help this audience have this transformation. Because your job is not simply to announce that you are available to speak. Your job is to make the connection between your expertise and the result that they care about. And there are 4 things I do believe an event organizer is evaluating, whether they are saying it out loud or not. First is, can you address a real and relevant problem? Not simply a broad topic, a problem. Leadership is a topic. Motivation is a topic. Empowerment is a topic. Communication is a topic. But what are you specifically helping people to do? What are you helping them to change? What are you helping them to improve? What are you helping them to understand? What are you helping them to prevent? What are you helping them to achieve? And the more clearly you can articulate the problem, I'm telling you, please take these notes. If you can articulate the problem in a way that is easier for them to digest, it becomes easier for an organizer to understand why your session or your keynote, I'm messing up all my words. Because when you make it easier for them to say yes to being their workshop speaker, breakout speaker, your keynote speaker, it helps them to say, yes, this person belongs in our program. The second thing that event organizers are evaluating is, what will the audience understand, feel, or do differently afterwards? Because if it's only like, yes, get excited, yes, 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 and there's no, here's how you can take immediate action, there's no transformation. And the transformation does not always have to be dramatic. And sometimes the audience leaves with a new decision-making tool that you're providing them. Sometimes they leave with language for a problem that they have been experiencing. That is a big deal. That is a big deal. Sometimes they leave equipped to have conversations that they've been avoiding. You know, that's such a sigh of relief for someone. That is a huge transformation. Sometimes an audience could leave with a framework that they can implement with their team when they get back. And so maybe the team can attend, but that person in the audience can bring something that is tangible or something that could provide clarity for their team or their organization. And sometimes they leave understanding why their current approach is not working. But there must be a reason for the session to exist beyond inspiration. Inspiration is valuable. Do not get me wrong. But when it comes to an organization investing, especially a paid opportunity, they usually need inspiration connected to something useful. That's so powerful. The third thing that event organizers, and if you're an event organizer, please weigh in on this. I think that you guys are thinking about more than these things that I'm mentioning. So if you have things that you are actually looking for, please drop that in the comment section. But the third thing that event organizers are evaluating is, does your brand give them enough evidence to feel comfortable hiring you? This includes your website. This includes your speaker page, your bio. This includes your introduction, your speaker reel, your topics, your specific thought leadership, your research, your proof points, your communication, responsiveness, your materials. Does it give them enough without even having to reach out to you directly? If they can access all of those things very easily and they have a link where they can actually book you or book a conversation to have with you to see if it's a good fit, yes, that's the way to go. That's the direction we're trying to go in. And the way that you show up throughout the decision-making process is something that they're looking for, right? They're asking themselves, can I trust this person with our audience? Can I trust them to understand the assignment without having to hold their hand? Can I trust them to represent our organization well? Can I trust them to deliver what they promised? And the fourth thing that event organizers are evaluating is, will you make the experience easier or harder for the people responsible for delivering the event? Event organizers are like, are they going to make my life a living hell? Or is this going to be seamless and easy and they're responsive to my emails? This like all of this matters. Are you meeting the deadlines that we provided? Do you understand who the audience is, their demographics, the problems that they specifically have that we've communicated to you? Do you thoughtfully prepare? Do you intentionally prepare? And this content feels curated for this particular moment. Do you know what you need from the production team? Like, if I gave you 20 opportunities, is it the same need across the board, or does it vary based on your setup in your room? Do you create confidence, or does your process create more work? Ooh, that's such a great question. Because your topic may get the attention, your ability to solve a relevant problem gives them the reason to hire you. And your professionalism gives them a reason to feel good about that decision. And a lot of times when they feel good about that decision, they're going to refer you to other opportunities, to other people that they know when they're looking for a speaker. So now let's talk about what comes before researching events. Before you even research, what stages should I be on? I want to introduce you to my 4D speaker roadmap. 4Ds. 4Ds. I wonder if I can just put this on the screen because I wonder if I can so that you can see it. I'm a visual learner. Everybody is different and everybody has their own, their way of doing things. I'll just drop it in. Maybe I can just drop it in the notes. But the 4D speaker roadmap, the four phases, the four phases is discover, define, deliver, dollars. And a lot of times people are starting with the dollars versus discover. And this roadmap helps speakers move from having expertise and ideas to building a clearer and more intentional speaking business around them. And today we're not going to just teach the entire framework, but I do want to show you why the first two phases are so important. It's just so important. It's imperative when you are trying to identify the right speaking opportunities. The first phase is discover. Before you research conferences, events, associations, or stages, you need to discover what is true about you. What problem are you equipped to help solve? And who do you generally, I don't want to say generally, but who do you genuinely want to serve? Ooh, that's gold. What experience, insights, research, or results can really support that claim? when you are saying, yes, I can help you solve that problem? Do you have research? Do you have insights and numbers and results that support the claim that you can help them? Some people don't put that in their media kit, that I have the proven results that have helped these people, and I can help your audience do this because I've done that. What perspective do you bring that makes your approach distinct, different, set apart? Because sometimes some things kind of sound very similar, especially now with AI. So I want you to be honest with yourself, not simply what can I talk about? Most experienced professionals can talk about many things. And the question is, do I want to become known for, you fill in the blank? What problem am I willing to study deeply? What audience do I understand enough to serve well? And what do I have the credibility, curiosity, and commitment to keep learning about? Because sometimes people who may want to speak on a particular topic, it gets like, oh, I gotta go speak on this topic. But it has to be something that really sparks your interest and gets you excited, because you cannot effectively research the market until you understand what you are taking into the market. You got to look at the market. You got to know what's going on. You can't simply search for leadership conferences and assume every leadership audience is right for you. Leadership for whom? Is it first-time leaders? Is it senior executives? Are these women returning to leadership after a career interruption? Entrepreneurs who are hiring their first team could be who your ideal audience may be. Could be administrative professionals leading without formal authority. Could be leaders guiding organizations through mergers, leaders responsible for digital transformation. Those are completely different audiences with different needs, different buyers, different budgets, and different expectations. The same is true for motivation. The same is true for empowerment, resilience, communication. These are like very broad categories, and we need to know what you help people do within that category. So during the discovery phase, you are clarifying yourself. Then we move into define. This is where your clarity meets the market. This is where you begin doing the research. And this is where many speakers move too quickly. They decide what they want to say. They immediately start searching for stages, but the market may be describing the problem differently. The buyer may have a different priority, and the audience may be asking different questions. So the organizer may be investing in a specific outcome. So first, define the audience more clearly. Not simply women, not simply entrepreneurs, not simply leaders, not simply employees. Who are they? What season are they in? What are they responsible for? What has recently changed for them? Oh, I love these questions. It took me some time to scribe this all out so that I can communicate it to you in this way. What pressure are they under? What decisions are they being asked to make? What are they struggling to communicate? What is costing them time, confidence, talent, revenue, reputation, or performance? And then you got to ask yourself, who pays to solve that problem? A lot of us are not asking this question, by the way, because the audience receiving the transformation and the buyer purchasing or paying you as the speaker are two different people. Two different people. Employees may be experiencing burnout, but human resources, learning and development, or senior leaders may have control over the budget. And you need to know who those individuals are. Entrepreneurs may need financial education, but an accelerator association, a bank or a sponsor or economic development organization may pay for the program. Administrative professionals may attend your session, but their company, department, or professional association may purchase it. College students may need the message, but a university department, foundation, sponsor, or student organization may fund it. You need to understand both sides: who needs the transformation and who has the authority and the budget to purchase it. Then ask whether the problem is connected to a funded priority. So yes, I would actually say that, like, loud to yourself, who, when I'm thinking about this problem, is this a problem that is a priority for this industry? Because not every important problem has the same level of investment around it. And that's the truth. Are organizations currently spending money to address this? Ask yourself, is it connected to a strategic initiative? Is it connected to retention, leadership development, culture, sales, employee engagement, technology adoption, customer service, risk, compliance, performance, talent development? Because these kinds of questions, it helps me to think about, does the problem cost the organization something when it remains unsolved or unresolved? What is happening in that industry right now? What are the trends? What are the new pressures? What is changing? What are leaders talking about? What research is being released? What language are buyers using? Because you need to know that so that you have that in your copy. This is why I believe speakers need to become more connected to the industries and audiences they claim to serve. You should be reading industry publications. You should be paying attention to professional associations. You should be looking at conferences, the themes of the random conferences that are coming out, and looking at what are their educational tracks. You should be reading research reports. You should be watching what executives and decision makers discussing on LinkedIn. You should be listening to industry podcasts. You should be in professional communities. You should be attending the events that you want to, the stages you want to speak on when possible. Oh, that's gold. When you tell an event organizer that you've actually attended their event and you've seen a previous speaker, and this is how you can add a different type of spin or value. Oh, you should be adding thoughtful insight to the conversations that are already happening. You should not only appear when someone posts a call for speakers. Oh, I'm hoping that that landed. You should already be present when, I think about being present and being in the moment. Because where the industry is discussing the problem, you're claiming that you solve it. So how the relationships are built naturally, it should help that your perspective should be there. So if you're commenting somewhere, I should be able to go somewhere, clicking on your profile, and see more of that conversation that you've already been having. And honestly, when you are putting your perspective out there, that helps you to stay sharp. And that's how your language becomes more relevant. That's the honest truth. And that is how you stop asking people to borrow their network without having done your part first. Now, once you understand the audience, the buyer, the problem, and the market, you can begin evaluating opportunities more strategically. I call this the opportunity alignment test. Before applying, pitching, requesting an introduction, or automatically saying yes, evaluate the opportunity in 6 areas. Alignment, audience alignment, right? Are these genuinely the people your message is designed to serve? Not people who could technically benefit from your message, but are they the people you intentionally built this part of your brand for? Second, buyer alignment. Does the person or organization funding the opportunity value the outcome that you provide? Do they have a reason to invest in this problem? Are you speaking to the buyer, like the buyer's language as well as the audience's language? Because you got to be dual in that way. You got to be like Duolingo. Third, message alignment. Does your talk address what the audience is facing right now? Are you using relevant examples? Do you understand the context? Or does your promise outcome make sense for this particular room? Fourth is business alignment. So if I go back, we have audience alignment, buyer alignment, message alignment, and business alignment. Because does the opportunity support your larger business, revenue, relationship, positioning, or professional goals? Because if it's not, then it's a no, a polite no. And maybe I can refer you to another speaker that I know could do amazing. So if you're using speaking to generate consulting clients or potential buyers for the other offers that you have in the room. And if you're pursuing paid keynotes, because there's different levels to this, right? And mind you, a keynote, everybody's not a keynote. Number one, everybody's not a keynote. I'm gonna say that for those in the back. Everybody is not a keynote speaker, and that is okay. There's not levels to this, meaning the keynote is like the number one most important, or the closing speaker is the most important. Panel discussions are important. Breakout sessions are vital. But you need to make sure that whatever you're pursuing, does this event have the budget and history to support that goal? If you are building authority in a specific industry, does the event connect you to that industry? If your goal is to book sales, is the audience likely to purchase and continue engaging with your work? And last but not least, compensation alignment. Is the fee, value exchange, visibility, access, or strategic benefit appropriate for the season for your business? I'll say that again. Is the fee, value exchange, visibility, access, or strategic benefit appropriate for this season of your business? Every opportunity does not have to be paid, but every unpaid opportunity should still have a clear strategic reason behind your yes. Exposure is not a strategy unless you can explain exposure to whom, for what. And when I say for what purpose, and how you plan to follow up and follow through. I'm gonna give you a bonus one. Brand alignment. Will being associated with this event strengthen the direction you are intentionally building? If you're going this direction and there's an opportunity that's going that direction, it's going to take you longer to get to your goal if you're going to go in the wrong direction. Because if you say yes to the wrong opportunity, it may create more confusion. Will someone who sees you on stage better understand what you want to be known for? Or will it pull you back into a category you are trying to leave? Every stage does not deserve your yes simply because it offered you a microphone. And this brings me to relationships. Relationships absolutely create opportunities. A warm introduction can change your business. A referral can open a door you cannot access on your own. And someone speaking your name in the right room can incredibly add value. So, like, you may not even be anywhere near the room, but somebody speaking your name in the right room can incredibly change everything. But a relationship is not a substitute for clarity. Before asking someone to introduce you, make it easy for them to advocate for you. They should be able to answer, who are you? What do you speak about? Who is the right audience? The problem you solve? Why you are credible? What type of opportunity are you seeking? And why is this particular introduction a good match? A thoughtful request is not, do you know anyone looking for speakers? That puts all of the work on the other person. A more thoughtful request might sound like, and I had to write this down, I help newly promoted leaders build trust and communicate through organizational change. I noticed that your association is hosting a leadership summit focused on workforce transformation. I would love to learn more about their programming priorities. Would you be comfortable introducing me to the person responsible for education? Do you hear the difference? The second request tells me you know who you serve. You understand the problem, and you did the research, and you identified the relevant event, and you know what you need to meet. And you're not asking me to invent the strategy for you, do the research before requesting the relationship. And I want to be clear about something else. When I use the word speaker brand, I am not talking about your logo and your website. I'm not talking about your brand colors. I'm not talking about whether your Instagram page looks polished. I define your speaker brand differently. Your speaker brand, let me be clear, is the full experience of you. It's your positioning, it's your point of view, it's your research, it's your credibility, it's your message, it's your offers, it's your materials, it's your communication. It's you, your follow-up, your professionalism, and your ability to deliver on the promise you made. Your speaker brand is the confidence someone has in hiring you before you ever step on stage. That is why finding more stages cannot be separated from becoming ready for the right ones. So, yes, build relationships. Go ahead. Attend the conferences, join the associations, respond to calls for speakers. Absolutely. Make thoughtful introductions, engage in professional communities, reach out to organizer when they're like, if you're reaching out to an event organizer, make sure that there is a genuine alignment. Because if there's not, they're going to notice. They're going to know if there's no alignment here. They're going to be like, why is this person reaching out? Ask for referrals when you have earned the trust and done the research, but do not begin, where can I speak? Begin with, what problem am I equipped to solve? Mm, who is experiencing that problem? Who's investing in solving it? And where are those people gathering right now? What business or professional development objective should this stage support? And does my brand give them enough confidence to say yes? Because you do not need to spend another day, another year chasing every stage that becomes available. You need to become the speaker that stages are already looking for. Okay, before we close, I want to let you know that these are exactly the types of questions we will work through inside Booked, Paid, and Positioned. The intensive is happening live on Zoom August 20th, Thursday, August 20th, Friday, August 21st, and Saturday morning on August 22nd. So it's a 3-day intensive. And this is important because it's not a program about becoming a speaker. This is for speakers who are already doing the work and they've been speaking, they have the expertise, and they've been showing up and pursuing opportunities. But you know that there's a strategy behind your brand that needs to catch up with the opportunities that you want. So we're going to look at your positioning, your messaging, your speaker assets, your opportunity strategy, your systems, your follow-up, and the business behind your brand. So when you register, you'll also receive the speaker brand audit, so you can begin evaluating immediately your positioning, your assets, your systems, and readiness before we ever even get to day one. So the registration link is in the comments and here, going to be in the description, and I would love to have you in the room. Before you go, tell me in the comments, what's one thing you need to clarify before pursuing your next speaking opportunity? Is it your audience? The problem you solve? Do you need to get more clear on the buyer, the type of stage or opportunity? Do you need to get more clear about your speaking business model, your fee, your message, or the person you need to begin building a relationship with? Could be like, I need to put it together a strategy of building relationships with people, strategic relationships, strategic partnerships. That could be it too. You might need clarity around that. And again, if you're watching the replay, drop replay and share your answer. And I'll come back and read your comments. Thank you so much for spending lunch with me. Remember, a stage is only valuable when it aligns with the speaker you are becoming and the business you are building. Do not simply chase another microphone. Do the research, build the relationships, strengthen your positioning, and become the speaker the right stages are already looking for. I'm Lena Castle, founder of the Speaker Code, the Speaker Brand Code. So this is very new for me because this is brand new. I loved having to support behind the scenes for speakers, but this gives me the Speaker Brand Code. This part of my brand helps me to have these types of conversations with you more intimately. So I will see you on the next week, same time for lunch. And we're just going to call it Lunch with Lena. So have a great afternoon and let me know, DM, email if this was valuable to you. And if you need to share it with somebody, please do. So take care. Have a great rest of your week, guys.